Hello and welcome to another tutorial from ICT. In this one we're going to be making a typing game using JavaScript, HTML and CSS. Let's take a quick demo of what this game is going to look like. So right now I have a HTML page that's basically have a scrambled or shuffled word on top here, and we have to guess what this word is. It will also show how many times we got it correct, how many words we have in the list, and then also how many of them we have incorrectly. So if I just type anything in here, you can see the incorrect box will go up. But if I type in the word correctly, the correct one will go up, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, and same thing happens again in the next one. If I type in, say, it's the incorrect word. If I type in unclear, it's the correct word, and then we move on. And it also keeps track of how many times we get it wrong, how many times it's correct, and how many words we are loading. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new Visual Studio script for this project. So right here in my Visual Studio code, I'm going to create a new file here. I'll call it typing_game.html. Okay, so that is my HTML page here. I can just hold the exclamation point and press tab, and that will give us the a empty skeleton of a HTML page. In the title, I can type in typing game. Let's say JavaScript tutorial typing game, just like so. Okay, let's add a few elements to our HTML page, HTML body with div. It's an ID of main. Inside of this div, we'll do a h1. And this one's ID will be word. So this is where the word is going to show up. Just type in word for now. Then we do an input box. Type text ID input. We're going to need to check this one's value in the JavaScript, so it's better to give an ID. Let's do a paragraph here. Like that. In the box, and then we'll do a Reddit link here as well. Say typing game by put the MyCity website here. mycity.com. Okay. MyCity, that's fine. And then we need to do a list, a unordered list, and this one's ID will be correct. Just going to duplicate this line a couple of times. This one is words length. And this one is incorrect. Okay. So that's pretty much everything that we need for the HTML page here. So if I just go ahead and try to open this one in Firefox. Okay. So this is what our page looked like, but we wanted to make it look like this a little bit later on. Okay. So now we can do the styles for the page. So it looks like that. And then we can move on to the script. So we're going to create a separate style sheet for this one. What we'll do is we will simply put the style inside the head part of the HTML. Okay, let's do the style tag here. First, I'll start off with the body. Background, say light sky blue. Font family Verdana leave the Homa, that's fine. And font size, I'm going to leave it at 30 points. Okay, so what that will do is that will make everything larger for us. So we want it to be like this. Look at the main tag. I'm going to give it a width of 1000 pixels. Height 800 pixels. Border pixel solid. Let's make it black instead of white. I had it white in the last example, so I think because the main text is black, if we keep it black, it probably be better. So if I refresh the page, yeah, you can actually see better in the light sky blue. Okay. Now we can do the padding. 15 pixels. Text align. Center. Position. Relative. Border radius. So how we're going to make the border corners a little bit circular. So we're going to make a border radius of 20 pixels. And then we do margin auto. Okay, that will bring everything to the center. We're going to have a slight margin on the top as well. So it's a little bit down. Okay, and then do margin top 2%. Okay, there we are. Now let's do the input box. Input font size, we do 40 pt. That's slightly bigger. Text align to center. Border radius, we'll give it 5 pixels. And then padding 5 pixels. So it's nice and big here. Okay. Then we'll do the unordered list. List style. None. Display inline block. Okay, so we don't want any list style here. Then we go with the individual lists items. Display inline. Then say font weight bold. Font size. We give it 30 points. Okay. So although they are all in a single line here, we do need to space them out a little bit. Okay. So to space it out, the one in the middle is called words length. Okay. Words length, yeah. Okay, so say margin left 40 pixels, margin right 40 pixels, so it's both ways there. And then color, say yellow. So it's spaced out in the middle. Okay, that's good. And then we have the correct color green and incorrect color purple. So each of them will represent a value, and we have identified them using a color. Okay, so now let's do the script. So inside the script, we will create variables that basically will be linked to the items on the HTML. So for example, the word input, correct, words length, and incorrect. Okay, so to do that, go ahead and create those. Let's call a variable called word1. That's the main word. Document.get element by ID. We want the word element in it. Input box. Get element by ID. Input again. Okay, correct. txt is equals to document.get element by ID. Correct. Incorrect text is equals to document element by ID. Incorrect. Words count is equals to document element by ID. Words length. Okay. And let's add for the input box. Key up. So for the input box, we will add a event listener for key up, which is going to trigger the key up event every time a key is pressed and released. Key is up, and if that's false. Okay, so that's the event that we want. That's the name of the function that we're going to create. And then this one here is basically like an overload, so we can keep that as a false. And we also need to do some secret words here. Okay, this is going to be a list. Okay, first word is programming. I can leave it unclear. Random. Happening. Modifications. And then momentum. Okay, so these are just random words. Okay, so you can add your own words to this list as well, and you can add as many as you want. Okay, let's create a variable for score, a variable for wrong. So each time we get one wrong, a variable to keep track of the words called I. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create something called a prototype property. A prototype property can be added to a variable to add a new property to the variable, or even add a method to the variable as well. The type of variable that we, the type of data type that we want is a string. So each of these items, whenever they're loaded, we want to run that prototype from that, and then randomize the string and then return it back. So that way, whenever it's displayed, it's randomized, and then we can guess the word that we want. Let me show you how this is done. So we go to string, prototype. Now we give the name of this prototype to shuffle equals to function. Okay, let's create the function here. Okay, so inside the function we can say var for a variable a equal to this split. So we're going to split it for every word. So sorry, split it for every letter, right? And then we'll do another var n is equals to a dot length. So we know the letter, and then this is going to obviously turn into an array, and then we're able to calculate the length of the array in here. Then we'll run a loop. I is equals to n minus 1. So keeping track of how many items we have inside of the list. I is greater than 0. I plus plus. Oh, sorry, I minus minus. So we're going to have to go the other way. And then in here we say var j is equals to math.flow, then math.random, okay, times by I plus 1. Okay, so that's basically generating a random number, and then it's generating a random number depending on which value that we're on. Okay, so this way it will have a way to randomize the letter in the same string. Create a temporary variable here called a, and then we pass in the j here, the j. Okay, and now we need to swap the value of the I to the j. Okay, so a, extra bracket there, and then lastly swap the j to the temp. Okay, right, so it's basically using the temp as a value to swap two values across. Okay, so if you're swapping two positions inside of the list, is the temp one is basically holding the position for one of them, and then once the first swap has been done, it will swap the last one using the temp. Okay, after that we'll do return a.join, and we'll join all of the words back together, all of the letters back together. Okay, so if you want to see how this one actually works, okay, we can run it in the console. The console.log. Let's take one item from the secret words. Let's say take the first one, and then now we can say dot shuffle, because it's a string and we added a prototype function to that string. Now we can have access to that function. Okay, refresh this page, go to the console. Ease up is not defined. We need to define that first actually. Okay. Pass in the E for the event. Okay, so as you can see here right now, yeah, the programming text, the first text there, has come back all scrambled or shuffled, right? So if I refresh it again, it will keep doing that. If you want to link it to the main header here, we can do it a similar way actually. We can just say word1 dot inner HTML is equals to secret words. Let's pass in the 0. Let's just say shuffle here. Okay, you're probably able to see that a little bit better. I don't think that worked as. I'm missing something here. Oh yes, that can't be I. That's I, not J. Okay. So temp is holding the I position, not the J position. Okay, that's better. Yep. Okay. We'll do another function here. Let's say update text. Okay, and then we'll run that one a little bit later on. So now let's do the key is up event. So this event is only going to be checking for one key, which is the enter key. Here, the if e.key is equals enter, and input box dot value equals secret words I. So basically, if it's the same value of the word that we're showing on the screen there, and we can also change that to an I instead of a 0, because I is what's going to keep track of all of those words in here. Okay, so if they are the same, then we also need to check if I is less than secret words dot length -1. That way we're not going above the loop. So if it's still within the bounds, we can do I++, so we move to the next word, score plus equals to 1, add 1 to the score there. Okay, else I is equals to 0. So if we've gone to the last word on the list, we can now come back to the first one again. Score will get reset to 0. Wrong will get reset to 0 as well. Okay, so outside of the if and else, we'll say word 1 inner HTML equals to secret words. Go with the index there. Shuffle. They will shuffle the next word that gets loaded up. Okay, and then we'll say input box value is equals to nothing there. So you just empty the value of the input box. Okay. So in this case, these both conditions has to be true, right? And in the second one, we'll say else if e.key is equals just enter, but it's not correct. The word that we guessed is not correct. We'll just say input box value is equals to empty, and then wrong can be plus equals to 1. Okay, and outside of both of these, we can run the update text function. I will update the score and the word count and everything else on the screen. Okay, we can test this out now. Then go to the next word or anything. If I type in programming, now it's gone to the next word. Yeah. Qualification, momentum, and it's gone back to programming again. Great. So now we can do the bit to update these labels of the words here, and we're going to do that inside the update function. The correct text in a HTML is equals to correct, then plus score. Incorrect text in a HTML incorrect plus wrong, and then words count in a HTML equals to words plus I plus 1. And the reason we're adding a 1 to it is because arrays count from 0. So in the beginning, it's going to say word 0 of 6 or 0 of 5 or something like that. But by adding a 1, we know it's word 1 of 6 or 1 of 5. Okay. Of secret words length. Okay, so if we count the words manually, so we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So technically we have 6 words. Okay, and I think it didn't update because we need to run this one outside as well. Update text. Okay, so we run this one outside, so now it says words 1 of 6. Okay, which is correct. I need to add a space here. Okay, so there you go. So it says word 1 of 6, and then we have a correct and incorrect there. Okay, still doing it. That's perfectly fine. Notifications, midterm, and then it all gets reset. It comes back to our first word. Okay, so this has been a very basic tutorial on how to create a typing game in JavaScript, HTML and CSS. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have, please leave a like and a subscribe to the channel. It would help us out a lot. Other than that, I will see you on the next tutorial.